I remembered to record too. So many different things to think of. So this is the vulva or vaginal and menstrual health 101 class. So let me share my screen here, and then we can go ahead and get started. I'm super excited about this webinar, you guys. You have no idea. I had so much fun creating the content and my handout. So excited to share this with you. I think it's so incredibly important. So vulva and menstrual health, and I'm already recording. Booyah. All right. So vaginas are amazing. So taking care of them should be as well. So let's go into how to do that. So the agenda for today. So I'm going to be going over anatomy plus loving your vulva tips, general vulva health tips, plus discharge and smell information, because that was something that was asked of me to cover. Pubic hair 101 and razor burn and ingrown hair relief. We're just getting into all the goodies today, okay? Natural remedies for yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, UTI, herpes, and HPV. Reusable period products, cycle syncing, and foods, exercises, and oils to support that. And then in your handout, you have resources for further education. And then I'm also going to go into how to get doTERRA into your home if you don't already have so. And then we're going to do a live Q&A. So let's get to it. So 2 notes before we start. Your handout has everything in it. You should have been sent that in the reminder emails. And then if you're on Instagram, let me know if you'd like the handout and I can send it to you. And it's really about progress over perfection here. Healing takes time and is multifaceted. So do not let stress to be perfect be a detriment to your gut and overall health. This is really important and something that I have had to learn in my wellness journey. So about me, my name is Aaliyah Hagen. I should have said that in the beginning, but I'm a 27-year-old nature lover. I've been a massage therapist for 8 years. I have a bachelor's of science in kinesiology, and I'm studying to be a naturopathic doctor. I'm super enthusiastic about sustainability. And why this topic matters to me is because I've had chronic yoni health issues or vulva health issues that have led me down this holistic wellness journey. Maybe one day I'll share all of the details of my story, but I don't think I'm going to get into all of that today. And so I'm really learning and implementing with you guys. And I'm also a wellness advocate and essential oil educator with doTERRA. So that's just a little bit about me if you have not already met me. So why I wanted to do this webinar: yoni issues are insanely common, insanely common. I don't have the specific statistics of that right now, but if you know someone with a vulva or yoni, they probably have had a yeast infection, BV, something like that. This topic is not talked about enough. I'm just going to leave that there. And we really have a shit education about it. I think my school had a decent sex education, but again, this just isn't talked about enough. So I wanted to shed some light on this topic. Most of us are extremely disconnected from our whole pelvic bowl. More on that later, but this causes a big disconnect with our wellness in that whole area. And it's also a source of a lot of shame. Again, we're not going to go too much into detail about this, but with the shame comes a lot of health issues as well. But it can be a huge source of abundant power as well, our pelvic bowl and our yoni. So it's really time to reclaim this. And happy yoni equals happy life. I'm just gonna say that because it's true. If you've had yoni issues, you know it affects everything. So anatomy. So you might be thinking like, vulva, what's that? Yoni, what's that? So the vulva encompasses all of this, all of the external parts of our reproductive system. So the clit, all of this, the labia, all of it, urethral opening, and then the vagina is actually the passage from the vulva to our uterus. And then the cervix is what connects the vaginal canal to the uterus. And so that's just a little bit of anatomy to get us started here. Again, your handout has another image that you can check out if you want to. So first step in all of this, I think, is loving your vulva. Have you taken a mirror and looked at yourself? It's a really powerful practice. And you might be thinking like, is this normal? The answer is probably yes. I love following the Vulva Gallery on Instagram because it's all about celebrating vulva diversity. And I know that a lot of shame can come from thinking that our vulvas aren't perfect, but there's no normal or perfect with our bodies. There's really a diversity in it. And so it's really good to celebrate that. I just wanted to put that piece in there. So I'm going to be going over some general vulva health tips. So number one is cotton panties, 100% cotton. That's like one of the best and easiest tips that I've found. Or none, or no underwear. Why do you think I like to wear long skirts and like loose pants like this? Because I don't have to wear underwear. Or if you're working out or hiking, moisture wicking is going to be really important so that the moisture doesn't stay there. And then also the second tip for general vulva health is no soap. Why, you might ask? Vaginas are self-cleaning. And so when we use harsh soap or anything scented in there or around there, it really messes with our vaginal microbiome. So you might be thinking, micro what? So just like our gut has a microbiome, so does our vagina. And so it's really important to keep that in balance, and it does that by itself. Like I mentioned before, it's really important to keep the area dry. So avoid sitting in a wet bathing suit or wet clothing. No douching, please. There'll be one exception that I'll go into here in a moment. And then also drinking water is super important. Drinking lots of water, of course, for overall health is important. And resting and managing stress. This is key for many areas of wellness. I have a whole guide in this, and that's linked in your handout that you have. Some more tips here. Always pee after sex. It clears the urinary tract of bacteria that will help prevent a UTI. And then also be careful of anus to vagina action. So wipe front to back. Oh, I put the opposite in here. Nice. So I'm gonna have to change that. And then be careful during sex as well. We don't want to cross-contaminate. Wash hands and toys before touching yourself. This is really important, especially for guys. You need to educate them that they need to keep their hands clean if they're going to be touching your goods. Use condoms. This is also really important. And then also, this is kind of a hard pill to swallow, no pun intended, but try and avoid hormonal birth control. It messes up our gut and our hormones like nothing else. I know this is challenging because if you're on birth control, you obviously don't want to have a baby, but explore some other options. There's some ideas linked in the handout. So discharge and smell. So both are totally normal, first of all. Okay, it's dependent on many things, for example, bacteria, hormone cycle, and food. And so it's really important to know, first of all, that it's normal. Anyway, I'm gonna not say what I was just thinking. But it's important to also pay attention to any sudden changes in discharge and smell, especially when it's associated with burning and itching. Then you need to see a doctor. That's usually a sign of infection. So vaginal discharge is a combination of vaginal and cervical fluid that cleans out dead cells, bacteria, and also lubricates the vagina. So it has a purpose. And also vaginal smell. First of all, we each have our own unique smell. It can range from sour, musty, metallic to sweet. So again, that's really dependent on the things that we're putting inside of us and then also our hormone cycle. So I got a couple questions asking how to support a healthy vaginal smell. So this is definitely dependent on, like I just mentioned, what we eat, eating whole food. I'll go into eating for our vulva in just a moment. But eating fruits like pineapple, especially strawberries and apples, can help to like sweeten the smell and taste. But again, we each have our own individual taste. But eating the whole food is really a key piece to that part. And then here's just a cool infographic about vaginal discharge and what it means. So again, it's really good to pay attention to this. This graphic is also in your handout too. So eating for your vulva, meaning how to support our vulva health by eating right. So gut health is everything. Our gut microbiome is really linked to our vaginal microbiome. And so I have a complete guides on these both of these topics, the complete food guide and also my gut health 101 guide, both of which are linked in your vulva guide, all the guides. So basically, in summary, eating more colorful fruits and veggies, whole food, good quality protein and fats, and low starch veggies are really important for specifically vulva health, but overall health as well. And then eating less of the processed foods, sugar, coffee, gluten, grains, sugar, I already said that, yeast and flour. So if you struggled with a lot of vaginal health issues, you might want to consider a candida-free diet, which I'll go into here in a moment. It doesn't mean you can never have these things again. Again, we don't want that stress to trigger negative side effects in our health, but we want to be mindful with what we're putting on our body as well. So again, complete food guide is there for you. So what about supplements? So I find an ideal nutrient-dense diet on a consistent basis to be challenging. One, because I'm busy, we're all busy. Two, because our produce has really shitty nutrients in it now. I think it's like we have to eat 8 oranges to get the same nutrients as 1 orange that our grandparents did. That's what we're dealing with in today's society. And we all need extra anti-inflammatory support. So this is why I like taking supplements. It's really important to choose whole food, good quality supplements from a trusted source. So this is why I've chosen doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack. So it comes in a 3-pack. Whole food vitamins and minerals is the first one. Essential fatty acids plus the essential oils is the second one. Alpha CRS is like taking a fire hydrant to your body. It's really good for decreasing that inflammation and neutralizing that free radical damage that is associated with a lot of gut and vaginal health too. So these next slides were from my gut health talk that I did last week. So I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but it's really important to know that the alpha CRS that I just mentioned has awesome anti-inflammatory herbs, polyphenols, which are antioxidants that protect from free radical damage. These are really important when talking about vulva and gut health, which again are totally linked. And then also alpha CRS has quercetin, I think that's how you say it, which basically really helps support to regulate intestinal permeability. So it helps seal a leaky gut. So these are really important ingredients as well. Pubic hair, again, we're just going for it. We're going for all of it. So benefits, first of all, I wish someone had told me this when I was younger. Everyone has pubic hair, okay? Unless you have some, thing that makes you not have hair, whatever. Benefits, it has benefits. It's not there on accident. It's a barrier to protect the vulva from dirt, viruses, bacteria, and abrasions. And it really helps control moisture of the skin. So you don't have to remove it if you don't want to, okay? This is so important. Again, I wish someone had told me this when I was younger. But if you do, if you want to remove or trim or whatever, I recommend an electric razor or scissors. This way you're not cutting it all the way down to the skin, and which causes either razor burn or ingrown hairs, which are a biatch to deal with. If you do experience razor burn, there's a really simple spray that you can make that costs like cents to make. So you're gonna take a glass spray bottle, should have brought my spray bottle in here, with unscented witch hazel or aloe vera juice, and 5 drops each of lavender, tea tree, and frankincense. So this is really helpful for soothing, softening the itch, and healing the skin as well. And note that this can be used as a facial toner, okay, a deodorant, and a first aid spray. So it's not just for razor burn. And then ingrown hair relief serum. So hi, Lisa, thanks for joining. So this is really easy as well. So you basically just take a 2-ounce glass dropper or spray bottle. Again, okay, so this is like a glass spray bottle, okay? You're gonna fill it up with fractionated coconut oil, and then you're gonna add those same oils to it, the lavender, tea tree, and frankincense. Again, all of these recipes are in the handout. Then you're gonna take a warm washcloth and apply it over the area for like 2 to 5 minutes to soften the skin. And then you're going to use the serum and kind of massage that in. And then note, this isn't just for ingrown hair. This can be used as an all over face, body, and hair serum. So really simple here. And again, it costs like cents to make. We don't need some fancy cream or spray. I've spent so much money on these things before. It's really easy to just make yourself. So now we're going to go into targeted support. This is kind of like the juice of this webinar because it's so incredibly important. Yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis. You also see it, bacterial vaginosis, as BV or bitchy vagina, as Melissa Ramos says, UTIs, herpes, and HPV. So yeast infection, first of all of these are extremely common. Okay, it's important to note that you're not alone if you're dealing with some of this stuff. And so yeast infection, it's a fungal infection. And it's from a variety of different things, hormonal changes, diet, antibiotics. Like for me, I have dealt with yeast infections and yeast and candida overgrowth my whole life. I was given like 7 to 10 doses of antibiotics before I was 2 because I had ear infections. If they had only known to give me the option of tea tree and lavender around my ears to support that, we would have been in a different place, but that's beside the point. So if you can avoid antibiotics, do so. Sometimes you need them, and that's okay. So it's important to support gut health in case you do need antibiotics. Birth control, like I mentioned, can really cause everything to go out of whack. Douching, washing with soap. People with diabetes can suffer from this. And also if you have a weakened immune system and if you're stressed. It's important to note that yeast infections are sexually transmittable. I didn't really realize that until like a couple years ago. And then bacterial vaginosis. So this is a bacterial infection from bacterial imbalance. Again, this is super common and this is not sexually transmittable. So most of the time when you go to the gynecologist or the doctor, if you have a yeast infection, they'll give you diflucan, which is an antifungal. The problem with this is it messes up your whole gut health, which is going to cause a yeast infection anyway. If you have bacterial vaginosis, they're going to give you antibiotics, which again is going to cause these things. So it doesn't make sense. So I'm here to show you guys some natural ways to support these without having to go down that route, because it's not helpful. So this is some ways that you can determine if you have a yeast infection or bacterial vaginosis. Again, see a doctor to get it like, what's that word? Diagnosed. But so these are just important to know of. Again, this infographic is in your handout. And then UTI versus yeast infection. So this is really important to determine as well. Some of them are kind of similar, hence the burning urination, but here's some things to pay attention to. And here, so for the protocol for yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis are kind of the same. So first of all, a candida-free diet for 2 to 6 weeks at least. It says no sugar, yeast, flour, and you're really focusing on that good quality protein, fats, and low starch veggies. Again, this doesn't have to be for the rest of your life, but if you're dealing with this a lot, this part's super important. And then also, hi Karina, also focusing on extra probiotics from food and from a supplement. I love doTERRA's PB Assist, which is their probiotic. It's a really high quality one. Internal support is 3 to 5 drops of doTERRA oregano essential oil in a vegetable capsule for 14 consecutive days. Oregano is extremely antifungal, antibacterial. So this is going to help with both the yeast infections and the bacterial vaginosis, or bitchy vagina, as I like to call it. And it's really important to note when we're talking about essential oils, this is so key, you guys. Not all essential oils are treated equally. I'm not telling you to go to Whole Foods or Pharmaca and get oregano oil off the shelf and take it internally. Please don't do that. With doTERRA, there's really 2 things that set them apart. Number 1 is their sourcing. Okay, they choose oils from where they grow naturally. This leads to better plant chemistry, less impact on the land. They're also supporting small-scale farmers all around the world. If you're into fair trade, you're going to be into doTERRA. Second, their extent of testing. They have third-party testing and run each batch of oil through 54 different types of tests to ensure that they're actually pure. This is unheard of in the oil world. So if you're gonna use oils, use doTERRA, okay? And then the second thing you can do is drink your lemon water. Drink essential oil, citrus essential oils in your water on a daily basis to help hydrate, support gut health, healthy pH in the digestive system, etc. So other ideas here are caprylic acid supplements. This is just from coconuts. Olive leaf extract and grapefruit seed extract are also supportive tools as well. And then suppository protocol. So suppositories are things that you, if I could whistle, I would do that. You put in your vagina, and you can repeat this process for 7 days. So first of all, the tampon trick, which I'm going to show you in just a minute. I'll make it for you so you can see how it goes. This is the one way that you should douche if you have a yeast infection, with diluted raw apple cider vinegar. This is really helpful to re-acidify. So our vagina is naturally slightly acidic. So again, it's that bacterial balance that's really important for vulva health. And so douching with raw apple cider vinegar, and then at night using a probiotic suppository. This is a brand that I've heard is really good, or you can just take like a generic, good quality probiotic and put it up in there. Or the vag popsicles. So I'll show you what that is in a second. And then make sure you wear a pad, reusable or organic, to prevent a mess when you're sleeping. And then you can also experiment with boric acid vaginal suppositories. So this is just a brand that I got on Amazon. I know you can't see it, but if you just Google boric acid vaginal suppositories, you're going to come up with some different ideas. And it's just like a supplement like thing, and you put it up there. Yeah. Topical support. So if you're dealing with like really itchy, irritated skin down there, this is really helpful. So it's basically like the mix that you would use for, it is basically the mix that you would use for the ingrown hair. It's same thing, carrier oil and tea tree, lavender, and frankincense. Super easy. So you can use these topically on the vulva area. Again, please don't go to Whole Foods and get their lavender and put it on your vulva. That's like one of the worst things that you can do, because we don't know what's in there. And then also to soothe is a bath, which I'll go into here in a second. So the DIY recipes that I've talked about. So the tampon trick, this is really helpful for yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, and UTI. So what you're gonna do, I've pre-mixed it here. So this is just fractionated coconut oil. You can use regular coconut oil, it's just easier with the liquid kind. Tea tree, frankincense, lavender, and then I've added some yarrow palm to it just because the yarrow palm is amazing for skin. So what I like to do is get like a little jar like so, and then I'm just gonna pour some in. I wasn't necessarily planning on doing this live, but I think it's gonna be helpful. So you're just gonna pour in enough that you can like soak a tampon in. And this works so well, you guys. I can't even tell you how many women come back to me like, Aaliyah, that works so well. Nothing I have tried has worked, and this worked. So tampon trick is a game changer. Okay, I don't want to pour it out, but you can't see it. That's fine. You just pour enough to be able to soak a tampon in. Then this is super important to get an organic tampon. Might sound kind of weird, but normal tampons are dyed and bleached, and we don't want that in our super delicate skin down there. So you take an organic tampon without the applicator on it, okay? And then you're gonna open it. It's not all zero waste because it still does have some plastic around it, but if you do want to use tampons, this is the way to go, okay? Whee, it's a tampon. Oh my goodness, okay. So, and then you're just gonna dip it in there and you're gonna let it soak for a little bit, kind of soak up all that oil in there. So I'm just gonna leave that there. I'm actually gonna use this later today after this. So again, when you're ready, you're gonna insert it, and you're gonna do this for 1 to 2 times per day for 7 days. And then the vag popsicles, I'm not going to demonstrate that right now because that would take too long, but you basically just take skinny like water bottle ice cube trays. And then I have it linked in the handout. That's why it says like this. And then you melt some raw coconut oil, put some essential oils in there like the oregano, lavender, tea tree, and frankincense. You might be seeing a theme here with these 4 oils specifically. And you're going to put that in the mix, and then you're going to pour that into the water bottle ice cube trays. You're going to freeze it, and then that was a good whistle. You're going to put that up there, and it's kind of messy, but it's super soothing. So that's another idea. And then the vulva soothing bath. This is something I kind of forget about a lot, but it's really, really helpful. So you're going to add Epsom salt, baking soda, or a couple glugs of raw apple cider vinegar to the bath water, plus the essential oils of your choice. These are some examples. If you don't have a bathtub, use a sitz bath. It's basically just a shallow tub to sit in. I should have included this pretty pathetic picture that I took of myself. I was in a real low with my yoni health, and like a real low. If you know me, you know what I've been through the past 5 years. And I was sitting there like in this like tiny little tub, and I have this picture of myself. I should have put it on here because it'll show you, give you a sense of what I've been through. But these are really helpful and soothing. So UTI, which stands for urinary tract infection. So some helpful things for this. Again, following a no sugar, grains, or alcohol for at least 2 weeks to give your body a chance to decrease that inflammation, not feed that bacteria. Lots of water. Make sure you add the lemon or citrus, doTERRA citrus essential oil to your water on a daily basis. That's super important to kind of flush that bacteria out. And then also the D-mannose powder or supplement is really helpful. You can just find it on Amazon. I don't have a specific brand that I like yet, but that's a really helpful one that's recommended a lot of the times by like naturopathic doctors and such. And then for the essential oils, frankincense, On Guard, and oregano in a capsule on a daily basis, so helpful. And then also making sure you're getting some unsweetened cranberry juice in 3 times a day. This is really helpful to dilute with water and then add stevia to sweeten. You can actually add the lemon essential oil, and actually makes a really tasty no sugar juice. So you can just have that on a normal basis anyway. And then also cypress topically on lower abdomen twice a day can be really helpful. And you want to continue this protocol a full 1 week after symptoms subside. Because I know UTIs are super painful. So those are my tips for UTIs. Herpes happens, okay? It's like 1 in 4 people have herpes. It's the same virus that people get cold sores on in their genitals. It's just a different strain. So this is really all about supporting your immune system, gut, and stress levels. Again, I have guides that go into detail about each one of these different topics. So some different foods and vitamins to include are listed here. Some different things to avoid are also listed here. Dark chocolate, nuts, sugar. Are you noticing a pattern with the low sugar kind of diet? Topical support, you can experiment with these certain oils. Melissa oil is like the top antiviral oil. It's also known as lemon balm. But doTERRA's Melissa is fabulous. Lemongrass, tea tree, hi Tracy, clove, On Guard, lavender, peppermint, helichrysum, and frankincense. So you don't have to have all of these, but just experiment with what you have. And you can dilute these with fractionated coconut oil and apply to the outbreak every 2 hours. So it really takes that consistency. And then internal support, you can also use that Melissa oil in a capsule because it is so antiviral. And then make sure you're drinking your lemon essential oil water. And then also reducing toxins. doTERRA has a fabulous cleanse protocol. I highly recommend going and checking it out, especially if you're dealing with chronic issues, chronic candida, chronic outbreaks, chronic yeast, like all these different things are really supported by these oils and different vitamins and minerals. So I highly recommend checking out doTERRA's cleanse. It's fabulous. And then HPV, this is human papillomavirus. First of all, it's extremely common. If you are a woman, you are most likely going to get HPV in your life. Okay, it is important that it is curable with a healthy immune system. Our immune system will get rid of it. It's also important to note that most guys are carriers, but they don't get symptoms. And not to mention, there's no test for guys to take. So they're just carrying around this HPV and spreading it to us. So, but again, most of the time it doesn't come with symptoms. It can, but with a healthy immune system, you can suppress it. Check out Cervical Wellness, the account, for more information. She's a wealth of knowledge. She has a whole book about healing HPV naturally. I highly recommend going and checking that out. I'm not like the expert in this yet. And then, okay, moving on to menstrual health. How are we doing on time? We're going a little bit over, but this is important. So we're just gonna roll with it. Had to reset my Instagram there. So reusable period products. This is a really cool topic because it can save you a shit ton of money. So it saves money, it saves waste, and it reduces our exposure to harmful toxins and reduces risk of TSS, or toxic shock syndrome, which you get from leaving a tampon in too long, which is really easy to do when we're busy. So on average, women use 300 to 420 tampons or pads per year. That equals anywhere from $100 to $225 per year, and like 8,000 or 18,000 per lifetime. Or you could buy one period undie, okay, which is like $30-ish. It lasts for a long time. Reusable pads. These are probably my favorite. So there's tons of different brands. I don't recommend a specific one. I would note, if you're getting them on Amazon, make sure they're not all individually wrapped in plastic like mine were, because that kind of defeats the purpose. But these reusable pads are great. So they come, you can fold them up like this, and then to use them, you just open them up and they're a pad. And then you just put them, you snap them around your underwear, like so. I was gonna show you doing it with underwear, but I think that's gonna be too difficult. And then a menstrual cup. These are a game changer, okay? These last up to 10 years or more. And this is like, you know, it's an initial investment, but look how much we're spending already on period stuff. So I use all three of these in combination, just depending on how I'm feeling. So you can explore what feels best to you. And then cycle syncing. So we're kind of getting into like a whole other topic here, but I just wanted to touch on it because cycle syncing is something that it's more recent to me. And it's what it is. It's basically adjusting your activities, your food, and your exercise to work with your hormones and with your natural phases to stay in flow with your natural monthly cycle. So it's important to note, to start this, it's super simple. You can start simply just by making notes on the first day of your period, and then start to pay attention to your different energy levels and emotions throughout the different phases. There's great apps for this. I don't use an app right now, but I'm gonna be looking into it. So I'll add that to the guide once I find some good ones. If you don't have your period, or if it's irregular, I think a good way to do it is just to track the moon cycle, because we're super affected by the moon. And so that's a good place to start. Again, I'm going to be continuing to add to this guide as I learn more, but I just wanted to touch on this because it's something that I think that I've been missing in my own yoni health journey. So I talked about, you know, activities and food. So doTERRA oils are great for our cycle. So they're said to have estrogenic properties, meaning they can act like estrogen in the body. They can indirectly cause the release of hormones in the body. They decrease inflammation, which causes our gut and hormones to go out of whack in the first place. And regardless, they're super helpful for like the symptoms that we experience. I'll go through that here in a moment. But for general hormone balance, there's some oils that are really helpful. So Clary Calm is great because it's a blend. So it has basically all of the oils in here and plants that are really supportive for hormone balancing. So it has clary sage, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang, cedarwood, geranium, fennel, carrot seed, and palmarosa, and vitex. Boom, it has all of it in one. So how you can use it, roll it on your pulse points, roll it on your lower belly. I know Zoom can't, oh, I almost just showed you down my pants. And doing this on a consistent basis. This is a piece that I struggle with. So I'm trying to be more consistent with it throughout the whole month, not just on your period. Also putting it on the bottoms of your feet as well. So just some tips for the oils. So let's go into the 4 phases. I'm just going to touch on this briefly. The details are in your handout, but there's 4 phases. So menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulation phase, and luteal phase. And each of these we can kind of associate, which helps me kind of remember and understand it, to a different season. So menstrual phase is when we're bleeding. It's days 1 to 7-ish of our cycle. So it's when our hormones and energy are at the lowest. So you can kind of think of it as like winter, when we're like really wanting to cozy and chill and take time for yourself. Rest is super important. You do not want to be, for exercise, you don't want to be lifting super heavy weights. Gentle movement, food, really soothing stews, bone broth, iron-rich foods. You can get into seed cycling, which is talked about on the handout as well. And then the oils to help for cramps specifically. The Clary Calm, again, has pretty much all the oils in it, but frankincense, the deep blue blend, is really helpful. So what I do for the cramps is I take some of the oils listed here. I've experimented with different ones, put them on my lower belly, put some deep blue rub over it, and then put a heating pack over it. Honestly, I still will take Advil sometimes because my cramps get so bad. I am working on balancing my hormones in a natural, holistic way. But for now, like, my cramps are debilitating. And so I do take Advil, but then these oils really help support. But a lot of people don't have to take Advil when they're using the oil. So it just depends on your personal body. Follicular phase. This is days 7 to 14-ish. Again, everyone's different. If you have an irregular period, go read some of the books that I've listed in the guide. I'm not the expert on this yet. This is more of the springtime. So you're starting to regain energy. You're starting to blossom again. Your energy starts getting higher. You can start going into moderate and high intensity exercise. And then the oils to support just general hormone balancing, but also peppermint and lemon, like both breathe. You put a drop in your hands, breathe it in, rub it in your scalp, drink it in some water. It's really going to help to match that like rising energy. Then the ovulation phase. So this is days around 14 to 21-ish. So this is more the summer. This is like when our energy, mood, and libido are at its highest. So it's like we're blossoming, we're ripe and juicy, we're out in the world, we're confident, we're strong. So this is really a good time to network and socialize. You can plan and brainstorm, do your speaking events, and then your exercise. This is the time to do the high intensity exercise. Different foods are listed here, seeds are listed here. And then doTERRA oils, so general hormone balancing oils that are listed above in your handout. And then also jasmine and neroli to really embody that sensuality and that confidence. So neroli, the floral oils, you guys, are so good. So just roll it on your pulse points, roll it on your neck, behind your ears. I also like rolling it on my hands. Seriously, the floral oils are to die for. I can't even express it. And then rub it through your hair. So this is a natural perfume. You don't want to be using perfumes because they're totally disrupting to our hormones. Perfumes with plants are awesome. So that's a good way to get that on. Super helpful. Luteal phase. We're almost done here, you guys. This is days 21 to 28-ish. So this is more of the autumn or fall season. So energy is starting to kind of like wind back more inwards. This is the time that PMS comes out. This is the time where more moodiness comes out. So it's really important for our activities to be more like nesting oriented, organizing, starting to go inwards again, to reserve our energy. Exercise is more light to moderate. And then you start to kind of phase down to more gentle exercises as the week progresses. And then the doTERRA oils, pretty much the general hormone balancing oils listed above. But then for the PMS symptoms, which range for all of us, but a lot of us, I think, can like resonate with some of these things: headaches, acne, cramps, bloating, all of these fun things that come along with having our cycle. But our cycle is a blessing, so it's good to have that gratitude for it as well. Headaches, peppermint and lavender, you guys, it's effective like that, okay? And they also have hundreds of other uses too, so it's not just for headaches. Essential oils are the best multi-tools that you can get. For skin support, tea tree, lavender, frankincense. Cramps, I've already talked about that. Bloating and digestion. Digest Zen is a blend that has fennel and anise, all of these oils that are really supportive for gut health. Brain fog, and then also low energy and fatigue kind of go together. So peppermint, citrus oils, the rosemary, and sleep support. I'm not supposed to say these words here. Sleep support, lavender, frankincense, and serenity. Low libido. I know that a lot of women struggle with this. I don't really. Moving on, ylang ylang and neroli are super supportive for libido. They're a natural aphrodisiac. And then mood swings, geranium, there's tons of oils to help support mood. So I have, again, whole guides for all of these different topics. So those are some different oils and plants, in essence, to support PMS symptoms. So if you're wondering how to get some of these tools in your life, stay tuned. So as you've probably noticed, I talk a lot about essential oils because they are such a really cool, cost-effective tool to use in a wellness lifestyle that supports gut health, vaginal health, mental health, all of these different topics. So if you're new to doTERRA, there's really 3 ways. So I'm going to highlight 2 of them. So one is just do the wholesale price. You get that by paying a $35 membership fee, and then you can choose oils a la carte style. Second option that I'm going to be talking about is below wholesale option. So this is when you start with one of the kits that I'm going to go into. This waives that $35 fee. So the kits are the way to go. Let's see here. And what you get for me, you get a whole lot of support, okay? You get a welcome guide to your new oils. You get a welcome gift. You get a free 45-minute wellness consult to create a 90-day wellness plan. You get a Facebook community for ongoing support and way more. So the first kit, this is the Healthy Habits kit. This is honestly one of my favorite kits because it's really well-rounded at a really good price point. So it has the supplements that I talked about, the probiotic, the TerraZyme. So TerraZyme are digestive enzymes, really important for gut health and the microbiome. Okay, both of these things are going to be really supportive to that. And then it has kind of the top 5 oils to support gut health. It has the lavender and frankincense in there. You can add the tea tree to it since that's something I talked about a lot. So this is a really good one to explore. Then we have the Healthy Start Kit. So this has the top 10 oils. This is probably, this is another one of my favorites because it has the top 10. We didn't talk about the Breathe yet. It's the respiratory blend. The Deep Blue is mentioned it, but that's like a natural icy hot. So it's really good for cramps and anything pain related. We talked about some of the other ones in here. Yeah, we pretty much talked about them all. On Guard's the Immune System blend. It also has clove in it, so it's really good for herpes outbreaks as well. So just food for thought for that. And this also comes with a diffuser. So I think everyone should have these top 10 oils in their home. Like, I don't know what I would do without them. Okay, and it's also important to note, like I've mentioned, they're multi-tools, which I'll go into here in a moment. And then this is the Healthy Essentials Kit. So this, I guess this doesn't have the tea tree or frankincense. You can always add those on, but this is the kind of top oils in larger bottles plus a diffuser. So gut health and beyond, vaginal health and beyond. these different oils are going to help support every area of wellness. So this is kind of a graphic that I've made to support that. And I'll put this in the guide as well. So they're multi-tools for everyday wellness and saving money. I mean, talk about like even just the monostat cream. It can be really expensive. Like what the hell? And all these different trials and the antibiotics and like all of the negative side effects that come with that. You can just try the tampon trick that I mentioned with these oils and it costs cents. So it's really cool tools to have. And this just kind of shows how inexpensive the oils are when you break them down. That's a cool image as well. And then if you're a current doTERRA member, there's two options. You can do a one-time order, or the best way to get natural products is the loyalty rewards program. So that's doTERRA's optional monthly subscription, aka an amazing rebate program that gives you 10 to 30% back on what you buy in free product credit. So definitely recommend, if you have an account already, take advantage of this. This goes into more detail about what that is. I don't want to spend too much time here because we're kind of at the end and I want to make some time for live Q&A. So live Q&A. So I'm actually going to sign off of Instagram to give some privacy to the people who are on Zoom here if they have some more private questions. So thank you for joining Instagram if you are on live or watching the recording. All right, and then I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to stop live stream on Facebook, all the things. And I'm going to stop the recording on here too. So if you guys have any questions, please jump on and ask. Thank you for joining the recording. If you're watching this, we're going to go into some live Q&A now.